You think war is all bullets and explosions? Try watching your best friend bleed out while you hold his hand, knowing help won't come in time. Try getting an order that feels more like a death sentence, for someone else. These aren't movie scenes. These are the real stories, of sailors who faced death, and sometimes, made unthinkable choices. This is the side of the Navy they don't show in recruitment ads. This is combat. Unfiltered. The sea was quiet. Too quiet. On board the USS Valor, the crew moved with a strange edge, laughing, working, but always glancing at the radar. For Seaman James, it was his first deployment. The sky was crystal clear, but something in his gut said this wasn't just another patrol. By mid-afternoon, the silence broke. A sharp, high-pitched tone from the sonar. Then, impact. The entire ship jolted. Explosions tore through the port side. Fire, smoke, screaming. The crew scrambled to battle stations. Training kicked in, but fear pulsed through every vein. The attack was sudden, brutal, and calculated. "This isn't a drill," someone yelled. "It never is, when death decides to visit." James ducked behind a console, hearing metal groan as the ship took damage. That moment changed him. The sea, once peaceful, now roared like a monster. Below deck, chaos ruled. Petty Officer Carla had just finished a routine systems check when the blast hit. The engine room erupted, steam, sparks, and fire. Red warning lights bathed everything in a hellish glow. Carla's comms crackled, "Get out. Get out now." But she didn't run. Fuel lines were at risk. One wrong move, and the ship could go up in flames. She grabbed a wrench, dodging falling pipes and searing heat, and shut the valve manually. Her hands were burned, lungs choking on smoke, but she kept going. Another explosion rocked the deck. She stumbled, blood trickling down her face. But she wouldn't abandon her post. When backup finally arrived, they found her barely conscious but alive. Her actions kept the ship running. That day, Carla proved that courage isn't loud, it's silent, burning, and unforgettable. Lieutenant Mason had followed every order without hesitation, until now. The encrypted message was short: strike coordinates confirmed, execute immediately. But the intel showed potential civilian presence. Women. Children. Families. Mason stared at the glowing monitor. His hands trembled. "Are you questioning command?" his superior barked. Mason said nothing, only nodded. Minutes later, the missile launched. The target was obliterated. Mission successful. But at what cost? Days later, reports emerged: collateral damage. Mason's face went pale. He stopped eating, barely spoke. Nights were worst. He'd stare at the wall for hours, lost in the echoes of what he'd done. He wasn't a villain. He wasn't a hero. He was a soldier caught between duty and humanity. One decision changed him forever. He still wears the uniform, but something inside him never returned. Some wounds are invisible, but they bleed the most. Corporal Dean and Corporal Velez had been through everything together: training, deployment, even sharing the same bunk rotation. But nothing prepared them for the ambush in the Gulf. Enemy fire came fast, precise, and merciless. Velez was hit in the leg, collapsing behind a crate. "Leave me," he gasped. Dean didn't listen. He dragged his brother across the deck, shielding him with his own body, bullets pinging inches away. They reached cover, but the enemy was closing in. Dean fired back with shaking hands, refusing to retreat. Reinforcements arrived just in time. Velez was airlifted out, alive. Weeks later, after surgeries and recovery, he stood on crutches and saluted Dean. "You didn't let me die," he whispered. Now, both men have matching tattoos on their arms: blood doesn't make us brothers. War does. Some bonds are forged not in peace, but in the fire of survival. Sailor Eric had a ritual. Every Sunday, he wrote a letter home. His mother kept them all in a box under her bed. He told her everything, the food, the friends, the stars he stared at every night from the deck. On the night of the attack, Eric sat in the communication room, pen in hand. His final words were, "If you're reading this, something happened. But I want you to know, I wasn't afraid." Then, impact. A missile tore through the lower decks. The room collapsed. Eric was gone. For weeks, his mother heard nothing. Then, one day, a scorched envelope arrived in the mail. Recovered from the wreckage. The ink was faded, but the words were still there. That letter now sits on her mantel, framed in glass. It's a reminder that even in war, love finds a way to speak, no matter how long it takes to be heard. Chief Diver Marcus had completed over 200 deep-sea missions. He was the kind of guy who laughed through storms and stayed calm under crushing pressure, literally. On this mission, a classified recovery op, he was sent to retrieve sensitive material from a sunken drone 300 feet below. It was risky, currents were strong, visibility near zero, and sonar was unreliable. But Marcus volunteered anyway. "I've got it," he said with his signature grin, slipping into the water before anyone could argue. Down below, something went wrong. The cable line snagged. The team waited for the signal to reel him back. It never came. They pulled up the line. Nothing. A 48-hour search found nothing but his empty mask lodged in coral. No body. No gear. Just silence. Some say he drowned. Others whisper something darker. In the dive locker, his nameplate remains untouched. No one speaks during gear checks now. Because when a diver doesn't return, he never really leaves. Not in memory. Not in fear. And not in the eyes of the new recruits who ask, who was Marcus? Just a man who went down with courage, and didn't come back.